Hello, you're watching Ellie from Ellymentry Papercrafting. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK. I've been having a really lovely play with one of the stamp sets which is soon to be retiring from our range, sadly, and it's called Timeless Tulips. It doesn't look very much when you look at the elements just like this, but when you put these all together you can make some beautiful projects. And one of them is the Bouquet in a Box card, and this is it. So it looks like a huge bouquet of flowers in a box. Okay, so I think you'll agree that that would be really lovely to receive in the post. So let me show you how I made it. To begin, we need a piece of cardstock that measures A4 in length, and I've just cut it down to 8 inches in height. And I'm using the thick Very Vanilla. I think you need a bit of extra support for this particular project. And I'm going to put it in my trimmer, and we'll pull out the arm there. So I'm placing it so that the edge of the cardstock is on the 2 3/4 inch mark, which is 7 centimeters. And then with the scoring blade, I'm going to score that one. Then I'm bringing it over to the 5 1/2 inch mark, which is 14 centimeters, and I'm scoring again. The third score line is going to be on 8 1/4 inches, which is 21 centimeters, and I'm scoring for a third time. And then the last one is going to be at 11 inches, which is 28 centimeters, and I'm scoring again. So I don't think we need the scoreboard again, but we do need actually to trim some cardstock. Now, from another piece of cardstock, now this doesn't have to be the heavyweight one, this can just be normal weight cardstock, and I use the same colour as I'm doing for my project, although you could get away with any colour really. And I've cut 7 inches, and I'm just going to cut these into 2 pieces at 3/4 of an inch. So I've done 1.5 inches there, and then if I bring it back to the 3/4 inch mark, I've made myself 2 pieces. And then I'm just going to put it in at 3/4 of an inch there, and take my scoring blade and just score a bit there, and the same the other end. I'm going to do that to my other piece as well. That's it. So that is all my scoring done now. So I'm just going to crease those pieces, and they come in shortly. I'll show you what we do with those in a minute. Okay. So with our large piece that we've scored in 1, 2, 3, 4 places, this is going to be the actual centre, the actual box itself. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to measure, do a little bit of measuring now, and make a couple of little marks. So it's not difficult measuring. So from this centre point, the centre line here, we're just going to find the halfway mark, so 4 inches. So it doesn't matter whether you come from the top or the bottom, because 4 inches is half of 8. So just take your ruler and a little scoring tool and just make a good mark here. And then on these 2 lines, the ones either side of it, you're going to come up from the bottom and measure 5 inches on both sides, like so. I've got a thick pad underneath here, but the other thing that would help would be the stamping pad here, so I could use that, because you need something soft at the bottom now, because you're going to put your tool into one of those marks, line your ruler up with the other mark in the centre, and just make a good score line there. Well, perhaps not that good, because I've actually made a mark in that, but don't worry. Maybe this was too soft. Yeah, don't use the stamping foam. What we've done is made the mark where these flaps are going to fold forward. But we also need to make a mark where the back, how far down the back's going to be. Now the back is going to be these 2 pieces. So if we start, just fold loosely for a moment so that I can show you how it goes together, like so. So these 2 pieces are going to fall forward and the back is going to stick up straight. So if we measure 2 inches down from the top of here, here and here, so this is the top, remember, we've got the point coming down, this is going to be the bottom. So from the top end, measure 2 inches, okay, and then when you've done that, cut down to that 2-inch mark. And then angle that in a little bit and cut that away. Okay. So now I think if we do all our burnishing of all our score lines, again, this is a box. And as I've said before, when you're making any kind of box, any kind of 3D project, you do need to really score your lines, burnish your score lines well. Okay. Like so. So now we can cut down to that mark down here, no further than that point. Okay, so you're cutting down to that point, not up, and then you're going to cut from the top to that point. Okay, so now we can take these and bend it back where we've made that score line, like so. And again on the other side. Okay, so now you can see where it's going to come together, like so. Now, because we want to make our flowers stand up in the middle, we need something to stick the stems to, and that's where these 2 bits come in. And they are positioned on the 2 score lines either side. Let's pull this flat again. So they're going here. Now you must make sure that you go beneath this line. The top of this must be lower than that. So what I tend to do is grab my ruler, put it on the mark and move it down a bit. All right, and then I know that not to stick it any higher than that. Okay, in fact, I should probably come down a bit further. So make sure it's not going to stick up. And then all you do is put some glue onto the tab here. like so, and then put it just to the side of this score line, not right on, it's just to the side. Okay, and then while that's drying, I'll do the other side. Okay, and then you're going to do glue on this one, and this part is going to go just the other side of that line so that they're opposite each other, like so, and then you put your bone folder in and get that pressed down nice and snugly. So if I hold it up now to the camera, let's hope you can see what that looks like. I wonder if I pop it like that, if that helps you to see what we've done. I'll bring it up a bit closer, and you should be able to see there how they've been stuck. Okay, so that's the inside mechanism. So now that we've done that bit, we can bring in our DSP. Now, I wanted the back here. Let me see, it's going to go around like this, isn't it? So let's, yeah. So these pieces here, I wanted to be green so we've got a nice green backdrop for our flowers to go up against. Now, because we've stuck this in, we can only put the green part into about there, but that's okay, we're fine. And I'd like the lighter bit to be here. So I'm going to stick this down to about there. So if I pop my ruler in, it's going to be about just under 4. Well, if I make it 4 1/4 by 2 1/2, that should be about right, like so. And then the same on the other side. Now this one we can stick in before we close our box up. Incidentally, this paper is from the Beauty of the Earth set, and that goes with the beautiful friendship stamp set. So I'll show you that one. Yeah, it's the paper that matches that one. I just wanted a neutral kind of green colour to back our flowers. Now we're going to stick this together. So this part is going to stick over there. I'll show you again. So it's going to be seen. So I'm going to have to stick it together before I put this piece in, because I want to cover up that part there. Okay, so that's going to go in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on my tab. Because this is symmetrical, this will fold in half, like so. And we can stick that down. So if we get my bone folder and give that a really good burnish to make sure that sticks really well. And if you are using the thick, very vanilla cardstock, it will take slightly longer to dry and grab. And while you're doing this, you can press here where you can feel those strips we added, and that will crease them so that they will fall naturally within the cardstock and crease where they need to. And then if you gently bring this out, you can see where we've stuck those pieces in the middle. Okay, and that's what we're going to stick our flower stems to. So I'm just going to very gently push this down again at the back to make sure that's stuck well. So here we have the basis of our box. And then we're going to bring this part and we're now going to stick this into here. And then I'm going to pop another piece on the front here and some other paper on the bottom here, and I've chosen the marbled paper, and this is in So Saffron and Bumblebee colours, and I just thought that would complement the green. So the way to do this is to pop your paper on so that you've got 1/8 of an inch at the bottom and the sides, and then I'm going to just get my ruler and a pencil and follow that line. I can see the score line across there, and I'm going to come about 1/8 of an inch below it and just do a really, really light pencil mark, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I use my long scissors to just cut that away, and then you can see that pops in there nicely. And that one pops in there nicely. So we'll stick that down. So then we come down, and then we've got this piece to use here and this piece to use here. So that's the box made. Now I'll show you how I made the flowers and pop inside the box. The next step is to make the flowers and leaves to go inside our box card. Now, with this stamp set comes the punch here, and that punches out the largest tulip head and this leaf. And the way it works is to cut the two out together. Now, for me, when I'm going to do a whole lot of stamping for this, I find the best, easiest, quickest way to do this is to use my Stamparatus. So let's bring this in and show you how I've set this up today. So the Stamparatus comes with two plates, doors, whatever you like to call it. People have different names for them. And they slot in like so, and you stamp down. And the good thing about this is you can move your plates up a little bit. So if you want to stamp the same thing several times, one on top of the other or one beside the other, you can move this along. It's really, really versatile, very useful. And the fact that you have two plates means that you can slot the other one in to the other side and use a different colour on this one if you want, and then you can stamp down like so. So what I've done is I've cut out from a piece of cardstock the two shapes here. So when I want to stamp lots of these, I put this in to my Stamparatus, and then I ink up first this one. I'm not putting this one in just now. I'm going to pop that over to one side. So if I pop, let me get the case. I'm going to just pop it round this way. If I pop the case underneath there, it makes this level and I can stamp down on it. Now I'm going to use polished pink first for this one. So just load that up with ink. And then I want to make this a two-tone. So I'm bringing in Gorgeous Grape and one of our little sponge daubers. And what I do is I get some ink onto this dauber, and then I'm coming round the outside edge and I'm just putting a little bit in the middle. So that gives us two-tone. And then because I'm placing that into the gap, which I've just moved, but I think we're all right, I've got this stuck down with some tape and a magnet, so it should be in the right place. And if I go down with my Stamparatus, put some pressure on it and lift up, you should find that that's stamped in the right place. Okay, now obviously when I moved it, it did move slightly, so it's just a little bit, but I can trim around that and it won't be a problem. So I've done lots of those and I'll show you the rest in just a moment. So I'm just going to remove this plate here and we're just going to work with the leaf now. And I will, just because I moved it, I'm just going to make sure that it is in the right place. I'm just going to, right, I believe it just needs to be moved very slightly. I'm sure it was lined up here when I put this in. So let's pop the magnet there as well. And I think it needs to come just very slightly this way. Yeah, that looks about right. So if I pop my leaf in like so, and then just ink up my leaf, and I'm using Mossy Meadow for this one. This is quite juicy, this stamp pad, so I'm only pressing lightly, and then again press down and pull it off, and there's my leaf. Okay, so I can do this loads and loads of times by keeping that in there and just cutting out lots of the leaves and daffodil tulip heads out of another piece of cardstock, and then when I've got enough I just pop them in one at a time, stamp, stamp, take it out, put two more in, and that allows me to do lots and lots of stamping very quickly and very accurately. So that's the tulips using the Stamparatus. And then what I did was, let me just close up my ink pads so that I don't let them dry out, or even worse, dip my fingers in them, which is what I tend to do. And I'll show you what I've done. So I've also stamped the medium size tulip head, and for that I've used Highland Heather, which is a shade darker than the Gorgeous Grape. And then in the Gorgeous Grape I've also stamped lots of the smallest size one, and these are the ones that I've previously stamped the same as this, but they've dried now so that the colour is a bit lighter. Now for the Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, and a mixture of the two for that one. Now I just took a piece of cardstock, and I just used the length of the A4 and just used my trimmer to cut these thin strips, random lengths. You know, the length didn't really matter as long as it was not too tall, too stick above the top of my card. Okay, and then I just stuck them to the end. No real, you know, specific skill in sticking it to the end, just stuck it on the end. And I'm just going to trim around this one because, as I say, it's a little bit over the edge here. It's good to leave a bit of a edge round it, because if you cut right on the edge, you don't define the edge. So having a little bit is fine. So just with my Tombow multi-purpose glue, I'm just popping a bit of glue on the end there and attaching my tulip, just like so. And you will notice with these, I decided it might be a good idea to just pop some at an angle. We might want them just curling out to either side at some stage. So I thought that might be a good idea. So I've done a huge collection of all of them. And I've also got more leaves over here. And I did them in some different colour greens because, as you know, with nature, even leaves of the same colour can look totally different in a different light. So this is our collection of flowers. And now it's just a case of putting them into the little bits of card that we popped in there. That's what they're for, to stick our stems to. So what I'm going to do first is get my tallest flower, which is this one. And I like to put one right on the back of my card. I just think it's nice to have one stable. So what I'm going to do is use my tweezers. I'll lie the card down like so. And I'm going to put glue on the back of the flower head and away down the stem like so. And then I'm just going to put it into there. And for me, that's right. It's not going to stick it out the top of my box. And that's stuck quite fast. And then I'm going to arrange the larger ones at intervals around it. Now, I've started by sticking a leaf on here. I was going to stick them all on, but I thought it might be better to wait until I had a few in there and then decide where the leaves should go. So I'm going to put this one onto our piece of card here so that it will move a little bit, but it will appear on the side. So to do that, I'm going to put the glue actually on my mechanism in there, then put the tulip at the right height, which is slightly lower than the previous one, and then just stick it down with my finger. So if I show you like that, hopefully you'll be able to see. Okay, so it is resting against that, but as you move the box, it actually does start to move. Okay, so I'll take another of my bigger ones and I'm going to put it slightly down and onto another of those cardboard pieces like so, and just adjust the height till I get it to where I want. And because this folds flat, you can just, when it's in position, you can just push it down until it grabs, and then I would leave it for a minute or two before I actually start moving this about. And I've got a little bit of glue somewhere where I don't want it, so I'm just trying to, I knew that was going to happen. Right, just, it's a little bit fiddly, I will admit, but I've got that one where I want it now. I'm just gonna hold it there till it dries. Okay, so it's just a matter now of placing them all in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back as soon as they're all finished. So I've just managed to get most of my flowers stuck in, and then I'm just going to stick the last one right to the front here. And I have found the best way to do it is just to mark with my finger where it's going and put a bit of glue down there. And then I can hold this with my tweezers, just feed it down to where I think I want it to go. Okay, so I didn't count how many flowers I cut out, but I think there's probably 15, 18 flowers in there. And I think you'll agree that it really does look like a really nice big bouquet of flowers. And if I hold it like that, you should be able to see that I've stuck the stems to all sorts of different areas of that little mechanism I put inside to give the illusion that, you know, this is a big bunch of flowers. And as you can see from the front angle, it really does look like a full bouquet. So you can see how easy it is. It's just a matter of cutting all the flowers out and sticking them onto the fake stems, if you like. I've only got one left, which I could put in somewhere, but I'm actually quite happy with the amount we've got in there. Now you can finish this off in several different ways. You can decorate the flaps, you can decorate the front. On this occasion, I think I'm just going to put a greeting just on the bottom right here. Okay, I quite like those flaps just plain, but you do whatever you would like, whatever feels right for you. So I'm just actually going to do happy birthday because that's what I mainly send cards for, and I'm just looking for the birthday greeting that I particularly like, and it's from Flowing Flowers, which I'm afraid is now retired. So sorry, but I just really love this one. And to keep in with the colours I've already used, I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape on this one. I love the font. Always try to be frugal and use all your cardstock, all your supplies. Use everything up, try not to waste anything. So that's going to go like so. I'm not pressing hard, I'm just holding it in contact with the cardstock to allow the ink to transfer. If you press down hard, particularly on the script, you can distort the stamp and it won't stamp nice and cleanly like that. This is probably the best one that will cut this out. Yeah, that is absolutely perfect. So I'll get that cut and then I'll come back and pop that on the front. Just on the front of my card here so that it shows really nicely there. And it's slightly proud, but it doesn't matter because this card, I won't stick it all the way across. But when this is in the envelope, it lays flat anyway, so it's not a problem. So let's just pop some glue on there. It would actually look nice raised up, so I'm just going to not stick it down yet. It doesn't matter if the glue's there. I think it would actually look nice if I bring it up on some dimensionals. So just pop it there like so. So there's my finished card, which looks like a lovely bouquet of flowers in a box, and it fits into what we call in Britain a C5 envelope. So just to demonstrate, it's, if you have a piece of A4 paper, fold it in half and it fits in there. Okay, so the card would, you take the card like this and you push it down and close your two flaps up, and then simply slide it in to your envelope, and make sure that you just get these down and this down underneath there, and you'll find that that will fold flat enough to post as a normal letter in the English mail. It doesn't even have to be a large letter because it's not too thick. It will pass through the ordinary letter slot. Okay, so that's just like sending someone a whole bouquet of flowers in the post in an ordinary envelope. Well, thanks very much for watching, everybody. If you've liked my video, I'd really appreciate it if you could give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share with everybody, and come back and watch me again. As usual, in the description box below, there will be links to the current Stampin' Up catalogues, and also a link to my online store where you can buy all the things I've demonstrated and lots more. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Bye bye for now.